Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Wednesday night, and as many of you know, I've changed kind of my days of going live around from Thursday to Wednesday. So tonight is a mystery challenge. And really all I did was challenge you to use 3 different things on your card. And if you don't have window sheets, okay, then leave that out. I'm making a shaker card, which is why I included window sheets. So I challenge you to use Berry Burst, Gold, and window sheets. If you don't have Berry Burst yet, I understand that. You may have some left over from when we had it before, but if you don't have it, then make a card using something pink. I guess that will be my challenge. So tonight I'm using the beautiful balloons and I'm going to make a shaker card. I actually think I told you this the other night that that's what I was going to do. I've been eyeing this. There's one die in the dies that is perfect for a shaker card, and there are window sheets, some really pretty window sheets with gold on them. So it's perfect for shaker cards. Hey Deborah, welcome. I couldn't resist. I love making shaker cards. And this is the shaker card. I've been through this before on some of my techniques. I think I did 3 weeks in a row where I did, or 3 times in a row where I did different ways to make shaker cards. This is kind of the traditional way to make a shaker card where you create a dam or a barrier to keep your little shaker bits, embellishments that you're putting in inside, as opposed to using a medium clear envelope. Hey, Gian, welcome. So let's get started and make this card. So this is the beautiful balloons bundle. I love this. It's with the bright and beautiful suite. There is gorgeous designer series paper. I'll bring one of the pieces in. So this is one of the pieces of designer series paper, and on the other side you have these lovely diagonal stripes. What I love about this suite is it includes lots of the brand new colors. So Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, Blueberry Bushel, Berry Burst, Bubble Bath, Lemon Lolly, Lemon Lime Twist, like they're all in here. Boho Blue, it's amazing. And so I've got that. I'm going to use the Berry Burst side. And of course, I'm using Berry Burst for my card base. Now, this is the bundle. I showed you this before because I've used it quite a bit. Great stamps with these balloons. These are at 85%, so the actual images are quite a bit larger. Garland. I love this kind of semicircle stamp. And then tassels and strings. And then in the dies, you guys helped me the other night. This is a fringe. This creates a fringe. It's really cool. This is the die we're going to use. Every once in a while when I pull it up, it kind of looks like, well, there we go. It looks like Mickey Mouse's ears. So I guess maybe you could almost make a Mickey Mouse out of it. Anyway, I'm going to make balloons, an opening for the balloons. I'm also using this to create a tassel. Okay, let's get started. So I cut my piece of Berry Burst 5.5 by 8.5, and then we're going to score it at 4 1/4. You could do it 4 1/4 by 11. I just happen to have this piece of Berry Burst. You know, when Berry Burst was out before, it wasn't my favorite color. I don't know why, and now I can't get enough of it. So I'm going to fold on into the mountain or the raised line. Yeah, absolutely love it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of position this here. This is the window sheet. I don't know if you can see that. See the gold? So it's so much prettier than just regular window sheet. It's already got some embellishment on it. Hey, Kimberly, welcome. So that's what I'm using for the window sheet. But before we get there, I'm going to go ahead and cut out just from the designer series paper. I'm going to cut this opening for the balloons like that. Just kind of maybe 3/4 of an inch or so from the top. Okay, I'm just going to use a piece of Post-it note tape just to hold that on. And I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Now, I don't have any of the new embellishments that you can put into shaker cards, so I had to kind of make up my own. And I see that there we go. Looked like I froze there for a minute. All right, so I'll show you how I made my own. There is a die in the bundle that I thought you could use, but the pieces are so tiny that it doesn't really work. So save this. Actually, we'll use this in behind, I think. Otherwise, we're just going to see Berry Burst. Okay, so we've cut that out. So I thought that this die here would cut the shaker bits out, but it's so small that I just lost them all. So what I've used to cut the shaker bits out, where did it go? Here it is. This is the Dots and Spots and die cut. So I took the other piece of Berry Burst, the other half, and I just cut it. I will use this on other cards, but now I've got a whole half sheet cut. And basically, I have just taken all of these little circles. There's my circles. And there was some in that I hadn't poked through. I think it's fresh freesia, which will go just fine with this. So I'm going to use those up. So this is just a quick way, as long as you don't mind poking all these little bits out, a quick way of making your own kind of shaker bits. I was trying to figure out what I was going to use because I knew that little die that came with it. It was just too small. Okay. Let's not lose any of those. So I've got my card base. Put that over there. So this is going to go on here, but we're gonna build this up a little bit so we can actually put the dimensionals. But before we do that, I'm going to take and put some liquid glue on the back of this. So I've kind of got this in the position that I want it, and I'm just going to take and use it as a template to position my cutout piece in. So now, let's see, just want to move that. Yeah, I thought it shifted. There we go. Oh, not too bad. Okay, there we go. All right, so I've got that in position. It's now on the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, these are the adhesive foam strips. So we're going to use these, and I like to just cut them into I can cut this into about third. So I don't like using the long pieces. I just find them awkward to play with. So what we're going to do is I've cut a piece of the window sheet with the gold it's 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I'm going to use Stampin' Seal just because I find it easier to use. I'm going to glue that with the gold showing, because if you do it the other way, you'll get the silver showing. So I'm going to just position this behind my opening. You don't have to do Stampin' Seal all around. So now I've got those pretty gold confetti showing. And then we're going to take these strips of, if I can find the end. That's interesting. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pull one of these partial strips, and I'm just going to start going around, and I'm not going around the shape. I'm actually just going to create kind of a rectangular barricade. Make sure you go right but these pieces of foam strips right up against each other, so that your sequence or whatever it is you're filling your shaker with, they don't fall out. Okay, so now I've got my barricade, and you can just take and cut that little bit off. All right, so before I pull those strips off, I'm going to somewhat gingerly, gently take my dots that I cut out and fill my shaker. Get them all if I can. I don't want to come off. There we go. So you could use the other thing I thought maybe I could use, except they're kind of the wrong colors. I was trying to do the very bursting pinks. I thought I could use the loose, what are they called? Loose frosted dots that come with the Hello Irresistible. That was the only other thing I thought I could potentially use. Now here's the trick. Well, actually I put these on the wrong thing. Here's the trick. Now, if I flip this over, and like I've done it kind of wrong. If I flip this over, these are all going to fall out. So I'm going to take these and try to position them. So I've kind of dumped them onto my card base. And I'm going to try to position them so they're all on top of the balloon outline or the die cut shape. And so we'll try and position them. If there's a few kind of stragglers, it's okay. And the reason I'm doing that is because now I want to be able to position my piece, my opening right over it. Now take your, taking the bottom one off, and that's okay. But I'm going to just take this and fold it back kind of halfway. And this one kind of halfway as well, with this, the tail to the outside. That'll give me a chance to kind of position it in place, and then I can pull off the pull off that tape. So I'm just going to kind of roughly get it into position, hopefully get it straight because it's not very straight. There we go. This is the downside of this method. That's why I really like using the medium clear envelopes. Okay, so I've got it positioned, I hope, pretty well, and press down. So before you start kind of shaking your card around, we need to pull these strips out and press down all the way around our barricade. And now we have all of the shakers positioned in there. They do kind of disappear because it goes down below, but when you shake it, they kind of all appear. And I like the fact that there's some lighter ones in there. I could have probably used some bubble bath, but these look pretty good. Okay, so we've got now our shaker. A little bit of fuss with that, the opening and the barricades, but not too bad. And I realized I forgot a piece of basic white for the inside of the card, so I'll have to decorate that later. But what I want to do is I have some, actually I do need some basic white because I need to make a sentiment. So let me grab that. All right, here we go. So I've got a piece of basic white. And I get my trimmer. So I'm going to make this. This would be for the inside of the card. So it'll be 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I need a piece for the, and then I realized, gosh, I'm forgetting everything. I realized I forgot my berry burst. So there we go. I need an 8 pad. And I'm forgetting everything tonight. All right, so we're going to do some stamping first. So on this piece, we're going to stamp the sentiment that says, I think it's time for a celebration. And then on the inside of the card, I'm going to stamp this really big balloon with this detailed one. I'll show you that. Okay, so let's stamp our sentiment. sure I got the, yeah, okay, stamp the sentiment down here. I'm going to fussy cut that because, you know, I always do that. All right, and then on the inside of the card, down in the corner, I'm going to stamp this off because this berry burst is quite dark. So I'm going to stamp this off. And we'll just stamp that in the bottom. And then this gives you even more details. So this is kind of like all of the confetti on the card. It's so pretty. You could even emboss it if you wanted to. That would be really cool. That would make it show if you stamped it in the berry burst and then embossed it using white embossing powder, that would show up. All right, so I'm just going to take and cut this. I'm not going to go around each. I'm just going to cut a rectangle. You could have cut the rectangle and then stamped it, but I don't know. This just always seems easier to me. All right, I have my sentiment, and we're going to use dimensionals if I can find them. This is fairly wide, so make sure you stagger your dimensionals so that it doesn't wobble. All right, so we're going to put this down here. Okay, now I cut out ahead of time 3 of these lovely gold tassels using distressed gold specialty paper. Gotta get some more gold since my challenge was to use gold, and now I've lost one of them. It seems to be my time for losing. Oh, there it is. I have already lost one of the dies for the cheerful daisies. I was using it yesterday, and do you think I can find one of the dies? I'm gonna have to get down on my hands and knees on the floor, I think, and then I've already been through the garbage, but I think I'm gonna have to go through, or the recycle, I'm gonna have to go through there again. All right, so I'm gonna use glue dots, and these are gonna be tassels on each. There are 3 balloons. There's the big balloon, so we're just gonna take and put these on. Tuck that under. Like that. Kind of look like squid. I don't know why I thought of that. All right, this is the gold. It comes in 2 gold and silver, 1/8 inch. It's one of the online exclusives. Oh. So I'm going to just take and tie tiny, hopefully tiny little bows. I love this little gold. I haven't used any of the silver ribbon. I'm going to have to use the silver ribbon because I'm almost out of the gold. I've said that before. All right, I'm just going to try and tie just a tiny little bow. And we'll put one of these bows on each of the tassels. Like that. And then 2 more. Maybe. There we go. And let's do one more. I like this little 1/8 inch ribbon. It makes it easier to just put a little tiny bow on things. Otherwise you end up with this quite thick or wide ribbon, and it's kind of hard to make little bows. There we go. Oops. All right, one more glue dot. Pick that up, bow there, and a bow there. All right, and then the last thing for the front of the card are these are the pastel adhesive backed sequins, and I'm going to use the gold ones because I'm in kind of a gold mood. Let's find some of the little ones. Oopsie, they go there. And one more of the big ones. And then we can take and adhere the stamped balloon to the inside of our card, and we have a shaker card. All right, there we go. Isn't that fun? I love these little shakers. There we go. So I met my challenge, Berry Burst Gold and the window sheet. So again, if you don't have Berry Burst, use pink. You have gold, hopefully. And if you don't have a window sheet, well, use some designer series paper or something. Hopefully you know, the other thing that you can use, if you don't have the window sheets from Stampin' Up, the pieces of plastic that come, that photopolymer stamps are adhered to, you can use one of those and use for the front of a window sheet. They work really well. It's thick enough that you can actually use it. The ones that you get from the paper pumpkin, if you have those, are a little thinner that cover that. But one of the window sheets from the plastic sheets from your photopolymer stamp sets will work just fine if you don't have window sheets. So there you go. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Now, let's see, it's Wednesday night. I typically am live on Thursday or on Saturdays, but it's my launch party on Saturdays. So hopefully some of you are joining me if you live in Canada and you don't have a demonstrator and you're interested in joining my launch party, just message me the link to my Facebook group. You can certainly message me on that, or and I'll send you the link to get into the Facebook group. So that's Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I won't be live specifically through that day, but I will be live on Sunday at 12 noon Pacific. So hopefully you can join me then. All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining me. Hope you have a great evening. Happy stamping. Bye.